Lifeless body of a man discovered naked in his office in Bafang of the Western region of the country. In this newscast, we tell you just how it happened and how the local inhabitants and relatives of the victims are still in shock. Anne Marinze began her journey to the world beyond. Today in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, her mortal remains were removed from the Yaoundé Central Hospital mortuary. She has so far been accorded a state burial. We shall be telling you more of that in just a moment. Stay with us. Good evening to you, televiewers. This is the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinox Television. Let's begin right away with a very sad story. In the west region of Cameroon, the lifeless body of a man in his 70s has been discovered in his office in the village of Banka, that is in the Onkam division of the west region of Cameroon. The shocking discovery was met by his children after they tried in vain throughout the night to contact him on phone. And it should be noted that he was equally discovered naked. A reporter Nzira Ayuk tells us in the following story that investigations are ongoing. Her report.
It is an unusual atmosphere that prevails at the Nufi Center of the Catholic Church in Banka. The lifeless body of Mr. Chachwe Nestor has been uncovered by his children. The deceased, who has been a worker with the Catholic education family in Banka since 2012, left his home the previous day saying he was going to work and will be home late. He was only found dead, lying on a mattress in his office, naked. I'm here to establish the death of Mr. Chachwe. Is it natural, a case of suicide, or a criminal act? I can't give clear results now because we still have to run some tests before we will be sure about the exact cause of his death. His children say the 18th of July was his birthday. He had asked them to bake a cake for him. After receiving a phone call, Mr. Chwache left his house for the office, saying he will be back late. After waiting for him all night and ringing his phone incessantly, the children decided to go to their father's office very early the next day. It was here that they made the macabre discovery: their naked father dead on a mattress in his office. Law enforcement officers called to the scene, and after preliminary inquiries claim there are indications that the man, aged about 70, died in the company of someone and possibly a woman. We found him lying on a mattress. It is believed he got to his office on the night of July 18th. We noticed semen on his body, thereby immediately giving us the impression he had been with a woman at the time of his death. Further investigations will tell us more. Investigations have been opened by the Banka Gendarmerie Brigade, and hopefully more light will be shed on this mysterious death in the locality.
A shocking incident there in the locality of Bafang, west region of Cameroon. Now, the Queen of Bikusi, Anne Marinze, began her journey to the world beyond. That was in the country's political capital, Yaoundé, today. Her mortal remains were removed. That was few minutes ago this afternoon from the mortuary of the Yaoundé Central Hospital. She would be laid to rest Saturday in her native Lolodok village in the south region. And Marinze, it should be noted, has been accorded state burial by the President of the Republic. He's going to be represented at her funeral ceremony Saturday by the Minister of Culture, Sismoale Kombi. She died on the 24th of May 2016 following a brief illness. Just to note that she has so far been celebrated by musicians across the country, a lady that actually has been an inspiration and an icon in the world of Bikusi in Cameroon and in the world at large. Now here in the economic capital Douala, some 750 soldiers from Cameroon to join the MINUSCA peacekeeping mission in the Central African Republic have so far signed their engagement letter precising their allowance as well as working conditions. This move, according to the Minister of Defense who presided at the ceremony here in the economic capital Douala, is to be able to avoid a protest demonstration that was orchestrated by some soldiers in September 2015 in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. Our reporter Jacques Ekwekinge has the details in the following report.
After undergoing 2 months of intensive training on the maintenance of peace at the Douala Military Engineering Camp, the 750 military officers drawn from the different corps of the Cameroonian military will in the weeks ahead be deployed to the Central African Republic under the convention between Cameroon and the MINUSCA peacekeeping mission in the Central African Republic. This is a third contingent of peacekeepers sent by Cameroon in an effort to bring peace to the war-stricken Central African Republic. It was against this backdrop that the minister, delegate at the presidency in charge of defense, was in Douala to access the training of the military officers and also to give instructions of the head of state to the soldiers. Joseph Betia Somo called on the peacekeepers to respect the engagement they have undertaken to defend the colors of Cameroon, while reiterating the fact that any recalcitrant soldier will be punished according to the law. The soldiers were therefore obliged to sign a personal engagement form precising their salary, duration and condition of their mission. The minister also emphasized that this engagement is to avoid the military mutiny that was organized by soldiers who came back on a peacekeeping mission from the Central African Republic that was last September 2015 in Yaoundé. To this effect, the defense boss also announced a compensation given by the head of state to all the peacekeepers of the other 2 contingents. It should be recalled that Cameroon's participation in the peacekeeping mission in the Central African Republic is very primordial, as this crisis is causing untold hardship to the Cameroonian citizens in the East and Adamawa regions, with the influx of refugees and kidnappings.
Jacques Ekwekinge there reporting. Now the roots or people of Kupe Manenguba, we are in the southwest region of Cameroon, have called on the government to honor their promises or its promise to them by providing portable water filling station and the construction of roads to ease the movement of persons and goods. They made a call to the government through the senior divisional officer for Kupe Manenguba during a meeting to evaluate the execution rate of the public investment budget. A reporter for Hansen Chanji tells us that the mayors have also called on the government to allow them supervise some of the major projects. His report.
Not a single filling station exists in Kupe Mwanenguba division, southwest region of Cameroon. As a result, fuel, commonly called Zwazwa, is sold at every corner of the 3 subdivisions. This activity is not only dangerous to health of residents due to air pollution, it could create havoc in case of fire outbreak. The delegate of environment, nature protection for Kupe Mwanenguba reiterated this during the semester conference grouping all delegates and mayors of the division. If a filling station is absent, the main factor is the poor state of roads. Kupe Mwanenguba is one of the most enclave divisions in Cameroon. Access to the subdivisions takes hours or even days. That's not all. The people of Kupe Mwanenguba are suffering from chronic water crisis, absence of a modern slaughterhouse. Some contractors have worsened the situation by not completing their projects on time or abandoning them. Mayors from Goti, Bangem and Tombel subdivisions have decried the situation, calling on the senior divisional officer to allow them supervise some projects.
The era when the contractor was selected by any ministry, comes to a municipality and does work, and you want to ask him, you mainly see him working, you want to find out something, he says, no, it's not answerable to you, it doesn't bother. Now they should know that they are doing the work for the population, and it's we who are representing the population. We are there, put there by the population, and we represent them.
Addressing those who matter in the division, Henderson Keton Konge, SDO for Kupe Mwanenguba, said some of the problems could be solved internally with a good coordination, but he assured the grumbling mayors that a solution will be arrived at soonest.
We have identified the major problems which will be submitted to the competent quarters. We have also been able to identify other problems concerning development within the division that will be submitted also equally to the competent quarters of the central administration.
The people of Kupe Mwanenguba think that their contribution to nation building, especially to the ruling party, deserves to be recognized with the construction and tarring of motorable roads. If not, why not?
Now, from the Mongo division of Cameroon, or from the southwest region rather, we take you now to the country's political capital, Yaoundé. Roadside business in that part of Cameroon may soon be hosted by new and modern kiosks. The government delegate to the Yaoundé City Council presented the first kiosk to the public that was in Yaoundé yesterday. The roadside vendors have, however, said that they are not aware whether it is going to be free of charge. Let's have the details with Roland Akon.
The Yaoundé Urban Council is putting up new kiosks in the commercial and administrative areas in the capital city.
Au lieu d'avoir des gens installés n'importe comment.
The multi-dimensional kiosk Urban Council authorities say are aimed at embellishing the city of Yaoundé and to check urban disorder. The council hall did not give the cost of purchasing or what it takes to own one of the new kiosks, which will certainly replace some kiosks which are found along the streets of Yaoundé. Critics say kiosks are not enough to embellish a city, which they claim still has a long way to go to become a modern capital city in Africa.
Still in the country's political capital, it is today that the meeting of the 10 regional governors that started Tuesday is expected to end. The heads of the 10 regions across Cameroon met in their annual conference to seek ways of tackling the problem of insecurity here in the economic capital, Douala, in the far north region, in the east, south, west, as well as other regions of Cameroon. The meeting is being chaired by the Minister of Territorial Administration and Decentralization. For about 3 days, the governors of the 10 regions across Cameroon were talking about the problem of bird flu affecting some major regions across Cameroon that has so far paralyzed the poultry sector in the country. They were equally talking about the problem of insecurity in the far north region and to the payment of indemnities to those whose houses and properties were affected as a result of the construction of the Kribi Deep Sea Port. As I earlier indicated, the meeting is expected to end today, and we shall be bringing to the resolutions of the meeting of the governors that were meeting in their annual meeting that is going to be in a subsequent newscast. We shall, of course, be keeping you updated. Now, hundreds of children are now orphans across Cameroon as a result of Boko Haram atrocities being perpetrated in the far north region. Their fathers died on the battlefield, leaving the heavy family burden to some mothers to carry. A foundation in the southwest regional headquarters of Boya has taken it upon itself to be able to cater and also provide for the affected population. Our reporter Derek Jato has more in the following report.
On her mother's shoulders, Agbonjomo Zoe is growing up to be told that her father, Agbonjomo Johnson, was a soldier in the Cameroon army and died at the war front while defending the land for peace. Nobesi Ruth summarizes the pains she is going through from when her husband died.
My husband died at the war front. That was last August the 2nd. That's not been really easy to stay without the presence of a loved one. It has really been difficult because we were based in Yaoundé, but due to some reasons we had to move now to the southwest where we can have assistance of the family.
When the president of Cameroon, Paul Biya, declared war against Boko Haram,
nous sommes ici pour déclarer la guerre au Boko Haram.
The commander-in-chief of the armed forces meant every word in that statement. The military forces immediately went for the enemy and exchanged their lives for others to live. These heroes fell to the ground with their faces facing the enemy. They were never shot from the back, and their absence are much more present in the heart and homes of their loved ones.
Beaucoup de questions. Je me demandais ce que j'allais devenir, ce que les enfants allaient devenir, qu'est-ce que je ferais. Je n'avais pas de réponse. Depuis que mon fils a quitté.
Today's statistics shows that 450 children are now orphans in Cameroon. And in 2015, a foundation was created, Fallen Patriot Foundation.
That's our principal objective. And we are there to support these children who have lost a parent while defending the nation.
Today the foundation is in Boya, the southwest regional capital, to raise funds. But after the huge sensitization, this is what the organizers met at the end of the day: empty chairs. With the new academic year already looming, will these sons and daughters also sacrifice their education and future after their parents paid the ultimate price for peace that the nation is enjoying today with their own lives? That is the question.
The devastating consequences of the war against Boko Haram, it is also a subject under discussion that is at the Yaoundé meeting grouping the 10 regional governors across the country. Now we take you right to it news out of Cameroon. Turkey has stepped up its crackdown following Friday's failed coup attempt, now targeting universities as well as schools. Some 15,000 education staffs and more than 1,500 university deans have so far been suspended. Let's have the details with Oro News.
Up its purge following Friday's coup attempt, now targeting universities and schools. More than 15,000 education staff have been suspended, and deans across the country have been ordered to step down. Ankara has vowed to root out those who support Fethullah Gulen, a US-based cleric it blames for the failed coup.
The president pledged any needed assistance to the Turkish government as they conduct an investigation to determine exactly what happened. The president's expectation is that people in Turkey want to see a full investigation and accountability for those who are complicit.
More than 50,000 soldiers, police, but also judges, civil servants and teachers have been suspended or detained since last weekend's failed coup. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has also called for Parliament to consider applying the death penalty for the plotters. Some Western leaders have voiced concern he's using the opportunity to firm his grip on power.
On that note, we come to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television, wishing you a blessed stay in the company of our programs. We thank you so much once again for watching. Stay tuned to programs on ATV. Good evening.